What's going on, guys? Pegasus from the Wise Guys here. Make sure you go to inkgaming.com and use our coupon code TheWiseGuys TCG10 to get a discount.
Hey everybody, this is Damir, and this is my Day 2 YCS Niagara Subterra Guru deck profile. So, first of all, I'm going to start off with the hand traps. I played triple Ghost Ogre because I was really afraid of Sky Strikers and True Dracos, and I needed a way to pop multi-roll on their turn, and I needed a way to get rid of like Dragonic Diagram and other True Draco spell and traps, and I didn't want to play like generic like spell trap removal because I knew I was definitely going to run into some combo decks, and they don't play spells and traps sometimes. So just playing MSTs would have been useless. But this is good against stopping combo decks as well, so that's why I chose to play Ghost Ogre. I'm playing Triple Ash for obvious reasons. This card negates pretty much anything. It's amazing. Every control deck should play it. I'm really surprised when a deck doesn't play this card, but this card really doesn't need an explanation. Next, I got the engine of the deck. Triple Guru, you all know what he does. When he gets flipped, you can search a card, and you can book Moon cards on your turn, and if you have another Subterra card on the field, you can book Moon during your opponent's turn or as a quick effect. And it says card when you have another Subterra card, so it counts cards like Final Battle and Cave Clash. Personally, I wasn't running Cave Clash. I don't like that card. It's honestly kind of useless. You're never gonna be in a situation where you're gonna need a Cave Clash in anyway, because the one card you're gonna want to recycle with Cave Clash is Fiendus, and Fiendus can recycle herself with her own effect. So I'll get into that a little later. So here we are with triple Fiendus. Basically, she negates anything as long as you have a face-up Subterra on the field. It can be Guru, it can be Archer, it can be even another copy of herself. A lot of people don't know this, but Fiendus is in fact a spellcaster, so when Altergeists try to aside Secret Village against you, you just normal summon this, and they're like, oh, you can't do anything, right? And then you just start activating cards like Pot of Duality, Hidden City, whatever. She negates any monster effect, spell, or trap, or their effect from grave, or whatever. But the big thing with this card is she can special summon, like, one of the effects people don't really pay much attention to is she can special summon Subterras from hand or grave by flipping a monster face down. So that includes herself. So if you summon her, you can target herself, flip herself face down, and then summon either a Guru from your hand, a Guru from your grave, or like say this is your last copy. The other Fienduses are in the grave. You summon her, activate her effect, and then you summon another copy from your grave, and now you have two Fienduses. She's really useful for resetting your Guru. So say it's like turn 3, your Guru successfully lived. You still have your Fiendus in your hand. You can just normal summon her, activate her effect targeting this, either special summon another copy from grave or another monster from your hand, and then you've set Guru, and then you can just use Guru, flip, search again. Another thing a lot of people don't really think much about is you don't have to target a Subterra card with her. You can target any monster, so if you special summon like Pancatrop or something, you can just summon her, target Pancatrops, book him, and then summon your Guru. And then the biggest thing people don't know about this card is you can negate stuff from the field. So she's not just a hand trap, she's like Ghost Ogre. You can send her from the field to the grave to negate stuff, and that's why she's so powerful. You don't need Cave Clash because like you'll never be in a situation where like you have to have Cave Clash. Like if you're on your third Fiendus, just pay attention to it. Just like make sure you summon that third Fiendus and then use her effect to special your second Fiendus from grave. Now that way you can still negate from the field with your third Fiendus, and next turn you'll have like a second Fiendus if you protect it, or to be able to just loop it, right? Then you'll just always have at least one Fiendus looping it by summoning from grave, looping face down, and then as long as you have like traps and stuff to protect your guru or like even the field spell, you'll be able to just have infinite fienduses. That's why I don't think you should play Cave Clash. And then this is, I guess, the spicy tech of the deck. Personally, I don't think it's that spicy, but double archer. I'm not playing Umistrix, which some people might think is crazy, but honestly, Umistrix is kind of not as useful as he might seem. Yeah, he's great. He's great for being a big monster. He's great for punching for a lot of damage. He's great for banishing cards, but you don't really need him. That's because Archer can basically do the same thing as Umistrix. She can't banish cards, but all of the big powerful monsters you're afraid of, she can get rid of as well. So like if your opponent has a Dingirsu on the field, you can book him with Guru and then shuffle him away with Archer. If your opponent has a Colossus, you can book him with Guru, shuffle him away. Like I said, she's really useful, and the reason I'm playing 2 is because I needed to replace Umistrix, which was causing me to brick, with a card that would cause me to, increase my deck's consistency. And that's what this card does. Instead of opening Umistrix and a bunch of traps, which would basically be a brick in this deck, you open this, which is really good, because then that way you could just set her, just like bluffing a Guru and a bunch of traps. Your opponent will try to pop this, and then you'll get to special summon Guru for free from your deck anyway. So she's really good. Cutting Umistrix and replacing him with her basically increases the deck's consistency by, I think, around 11% or something. And as a result, during like the 10 rounds of the YCS Niagara, I didn't brick once. I always had her and Fiendus, or her without anything, and even then it was just great. Or just like Guru or whatever. But what I like about Archer is, unlike any other consistency card you can add to the deck, like Metaverse or Set Rotation, opening this and Fiendus still means you get a negate. You could open this and then, cool, now you have an Omni negate with Fiendus that you can just summon this in attack mode, hold this in your hand, and it'd be just like having Guru. You can flip her face down and negate with Fiendus, right? Except you don't really care if she dies, because then you just get a Guru. And that's the beautiful part about it. She just allows you more opportunities to use Fiendus in case you do open it in your opening hand. And now for the spells. Triple Pot of Extravagance in this deck. It's basically Pot of Greed. 3 Pots of Greed is amazing. You don't really use your extra deck at all, so no reason not to play this card. This is the main card of the deck. Hidden City gets your engine rolling. With this, your entire deck is like a 1-card engine. Activate this, add Guru, set Guru, flip Guru with this card, search Fiendus or whatever else you need. And then a lot of people are really afraid of this card. It's really funny. I even said it in my Nationals deck profile. They will go out of their way to pop this instead of like your mysterious back row, because like they're just so afraid that it's gonna negate an attack, or they know it can flip stuff, but like they always pick it up and read it, and then they'll go Twin Twister, this, and 1 back row instead of like 2 back row. This card, like its most important role is definitely searching the Guru like the first time you activate it, but everyone is just really afraid of it for some reason, and I think that's hilarious. 1 Terraforming just for consistency, get the Hidden City. Triple Duality, yet again for consistency. It just helps you dig for those cards that you need, helps you set up your board. Great for going first, obviously. Just a consistency card, pretty much it. Now, this is a card I see a lot of people not playing, but I think it's a mistake not to play it. Called by the Grave. So this card has multiple uses and is definitely the most versatile card in the deck. Obviously, the main reason I play this card is for consistency. And what I mean by that is, if you open Hidden City in this card, this will go off no matter what. You will always get this. They will ash you, and you will activate this, and then this goes through. That is so much better than not playing this card, opening this, activating, getting ashed. Because then you can only activate one of these per turn anyway. So even if you have 2 copies, like, you're done for the turn. You won't be able to do anything. So this deck suffers a lot if you can't get Guru, right? So you have to get it, and that's what this card helps you do. Other than that, it's just an amazing defensive card as well. You can use it against Salamangreat, you can use it against Orcus, and there's one thing against Orcus that's just really good to do, and that's not setting this card. If you're going second, they do Orcus combo, they got Babel on the field, Dingirsu, Skeleton in the grave, you set all your back row, and you hold this in your hand, and then you end your turn. And they will, like 99% of the time, they will try to go end phase, activate Skeleton, targeting Dingirsu, and then you will be able to chain the Call by the Grave to the Dingirsu, which will obviously banish him and stop him from like sending your Guru to the grave, and he won't even be able to use them next turn. So you'll be safe for like 2 turns during your turn and your opponent's next turn from Dingirsu. So I think this card is amazing, especially against a lot of decks that are playing out of the grave. Like Thunder Dragons, you can just negate any of their hand effects. Orcus, obviously, Salamangreats, and even against other control decks where they're just playing hand traps. You just don't want your Hidden City ever to get negated, or even Extravagance, right? You can only activate 1 Ash per turn, so once you activate Extravagance and negate the Ash, that's it. They won't be able to hand trap you for the rest of the turn. Other than that, like other hand traps are less devastating. Like if they Ghost Ogre your Hidden City, it's just like, oh no, I won't be able to flip my Guru this turn. But you still have Guru, and that's the important thing. And then this card has been amazing. Double Cosmic Cyclone. Basically, I was playing this mainly because I didn't want to get Mystic Mind, and I wanted to have an out to Mystic Mind. So what Mystic Mind players will do is they'll activate Mystic Mind and just stall you for sometimes like 10, 15 turns, like just a lot of turns. And eventually playing, triple Extravagance, triple Duality, you're going to draw into this card, right? So during that time, while you're stalling, you're just setting up your traps, setting monsters, and just waiting to draw this card, right? And then when you do eventually draw it, they'll most likely have 0 monsters in the field because they don't want their Mystic Mind to work against them or negate their own monster effects, right? So you just set up, negate any plays that would otherwise hurt you with your traps, and when you get this card, you just hit the Mystic Mind and then just flip everything and go off. Most of the time you can just OTK them if you have Final Battle, and yeah, it's been amazing. Other than that, the reason I'm playing Cosmic Cyclone specifically instead of MST is because it's really good at getting rid of True Draco cards so they don't trigger their grave effects, and multi-roll. That's one of the biggest things I was worried about, multi-roll. Once you banish multi-roll, they only get 1 copy, and it's a much easier matchup against Sky Strikers. Other than that, it's just good against a lot of combo decks too, like Orcus and Salamangreat. They usually only set like 1 trap, and it's the counter trap, right? So if you open this, you just activate, target the counter trap, they're forced to negate, and then you're free to do whatever because now they don't have a counter trap, right? It's amazing. I love it. I wouldn't play 3 because sometimes you play against decks that don't play any traps or spells at all, and then it could be dead, but that hasn't really happened. Most decks play some form of spells or traps. Even Thunder Dragon. It's really funny. Against Thunder Dragons, even though they don't play like typical back row, like when they activate Thunder Dragon Fusion, you can just chain this to Thunder Dragon Fusion, and then they won't be able to search next turn because he's chained to this, because it just gets banished. And it's really funny because it stops them from doing a lot of plays. So it's amazing. Definitely love this card. I've never run into a situation where I lost the game because I paid 1,000 life points during time or something. So just play smart. That shouldn't happen. And it's just more useful. The pros outweigh the cons, basically. And that's pretty much it for this card. And now onto the traps. There can be only one. Best floodgate trap in the game. It stops pretty much every single deck except, I guess, maybe Strikers from doing anything, and I guess True Draco. But it's very helpful with True Draco against True Draco, because if you have this on the field, it stops them from tribute summoning more monsters and stops them from popping your cards. So game 1, it's not useless. It just sucks opening multiple copies, I guess, against True Draco anyway. But other than that, it stops every single deck. Stops Salamangreat, stops Orcus, stops Thunder Dragons. It's amazing. Like even going second, this card is amazing because you'd like open this and a strike, set them. Your opponent would have like a full board with their like full combo or whatever. You'd flip this, they would try to negate, and then you strike it, and then they'd be forced to like lose their entire field. This best counter trap or best floodgate. Honestly, this card probably needs to be banned, but I think it needs to exist at the same time because there are decks out there like Dragon Link that can just do a 1-card combo and just set up 5 negates, and that's kind of the reason this card even exists. So until that gets nerfed, like 1-card 5 negate combos, this card is definitely necessary and very powerful for a reason. And now the counter traps. Triple Solemn Judgment. I'm playing triple of this because it's going to be useful against every single deck. Even if it's like a 40 monster deck, this negates summons, and it's always going to be live because you have to pay half your life points, right? Unlike Strike, where you have to pay a set amount of life points, you'll be able to activate this at 100 life points. So it's just really good, and it's also especially good against Sky Strikers because without playing this card, like you'll only be able to negate 1 spell a turn with Fiendus, right? So this gives you more options to like negate spell cards, and it's just good for counter plays against other control decks. Like they try to activate a trap card, and you just negate their trap card with this, especially if you're out of Fienduses. Doesn't really need any more explanation. It's Judgment. It negates pretty much everything. All right, and then I'm playing 2 strikes. I'm only playing 2 because, like, yeah, it's really good, but I'm already paying a lot of life points with Cosmic Cyclone, Solemn Judgment, and I couldn't find the room to play 3. It's amazing. Doesn't really need any more explanation than that. There's a lot of decks out there that play a lot of monsters, and the reason I'm playing like strikes and judgments instead of like 9 hand traps is because I tried out 9 hand traps, didn't do too well, and I've been finding a lot of success with just triple judgment, double strike, because you need a card that destroys cards. With hand traps, the only hand trap that actually destroys like monsters is Ghost Ogre, and that's why I'm playing it, because like you need a way to like dwindle their card advantage, and this does a great job of doing that. Like if they normal summon a monster, activate their effect, strike it, that hurts a lot more than just Veiler or Impermanence. Yeah, it negates the monster's effect, but they still have a monster on the field to do plays with, right? So great card. Love it. I don't know if I'd play more of it if I could, but I would just stick to 2 for now. And then triple final battle, playing 3 because yeah, you can get away with 2, but you definitely want to hard draw this card. Hard drawing this card is amazing because they'll never see it coming. People will summon like a big ass monster like Pankratops and try to punch into your Guru, and you'll go damage step, and they're gonna be like, I'm not falling for that bluff. Or they'll be like, oh man, if he like I don't want to just chain this because then he'll call by the grave the Pankratops or Fiendus the Pankratops, and the Pankratops is useless. So they will fall, like most of the time they'll just punch right into this, or you'll just be able to negate their Pankratops by Fiendus or Call by the Grave or Strike or whatever. So it's nice when you don't like telegraph it by showing your opponent, oh hey, I'm searching final battle. Then they'll know, okay, I can't attack Guru anymore, I have to find another way around it. That, and it's just really good. It counts as a sub-tier card, so if you have Guru on the field by himself, you can just activate this, calling literally any effect, and then you can just chain Guru to Book of Moon something. That's one of the reasons I don't play Cave Clash, because you can just search this, it doesn't really matter. That and the 4th effect where sub-tier cards can't get negated is super useful. Your opponent will be like, I'll Call by the Grave your Fiendus, and then you'll chain this saying, oh, sub-tier cards can't get negated, and they'll be like, oh, I just -1 for no reason, and then this resets itself. It's amazing. I love it. That's pretty much it for the main deck, though. Extra deck. This is pretty much all super poly targets, but I'll get into it. Predaplant Drago Stapler. It is amazing. I love this card because it also counts as a negate, right? Most of the time, the only time you'll ever summon it is probably against Pendulums and Thunder Dragons. Thunder Dragons will try to play around a Super Poly or with making 1 Titan, 1 Colossus because they don't want to get Starving Venomed. So you'll make this card instead, and then it can count as a negate, right? Then you're like, I played this one Thunder Dragon where I super polyed his Colossus and his Titan, and then set like 4 back row, and then next turn he summoned Denko on me, and then I'm like, oh, that's funny. Activate, negate Denko, and then I was able to activate all my traps, and the card is negated for as long as he's on the field. So I love this. This is one of the best super poly targets. Hard to make because not too many decks play fusion monsters, but when you do make him, oh, he just blows people out of the water. Mud Dragon of the Swamp. Normally I wouldn't play this card because you don't go into him very often, but I played him because I needed an out to the BLS Link monster, because it's really hard to get over him without Umistrix, and if they choose the option to gain the attack, then you just won't be able to get over him at all. So what you would do is super poly your own monster and the BLS Link monster because he's an Earth, and you'll make this guy, and that's your out to him. That's the main reason I was running this. Other than that, like, you can make him in the mirror match, but I wouldn't play super poly in the mirror match. Double Chimeric Fortress Dragon. There was a lot of Cyber Dragon Orcus decks going around, so I played this because if they happen to leave a Cyber Dragon monster on the field, I'd be able to just wipe their entire Cyber Dragon and Orcus field with this card for free. I wouldn't even have to play a card. You just go standby main, contact fuse everything, summon this. You get a free monster, they lose everything. It's beautiful. Unfortunately, never did happen, but it's useful to have just because you have a lot of room in this extra deck anyway. Same reasoning goes for Mega Fleet. Pretty much you just want to be able to contact fuse their extra monster zones. Extra monster zones. Pretty much it. Doesn't really matter. I never ended up using him in YCS Niagara. So maybe I'd replace maybe 1 or 2 of these with Nightmare Phoenix, because there was a Grand Maju player I played, and I wasn't able to get over his Golden Castle because, like, I couldn't attack, so I couldn't get rid of his monsters, and I couldn't get rid of his field spell because I didn't have Nightmare Phoenix, but that's pretty much it. And then the best super poly targets, Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, just 2 darks. He's like the most generic one. You could use him against pretty much every single combo deck. You can use him against Dragon Link, Orcust, any Danger deck, any Guard Dragon deck, and Pendulum Dragon, like anything. He's amazing. Playing 3, obviously, because of Extravagance. You don't want to like banish all your copies of him. And same goes for this card, Salamander Great Violet Chimera. Some people are playing Diplexer, but I'm choosing to play this because I just want to, when I super poly, I just want to make a huge monster, right? Diplexer is only 2,000. He's easier to make, but most of the time I'm going to be super polying their Link monsters anyway. So it did come up where I needed a big monster to kill a guy, and I made this, and it happened to be exact game. So I wouldn't, like, you can play Diplexer if you want, maybe 1 or 2 copies, but I just like Violet Chimera. And that's it for the extra deck. Now for the side deck. I will start off with triple Pankratrops. Best side card in the game. He's just absolutely a free boss monster. He gets over stuff. He's huge. He can pop during another player's turn. I played him because he's just like 3 more MSTs. So even if you're playing against like a control deck, you can summon this guy, punch one of their tiny monsters, and then pop one of their back rows, and then go off from there with like your Guru plays because he'll keep you safe. And against like combo decks, he just baits a whole bunch of negates. You can summon him, punch something, pop another card. He's almost always going to be like a 2-for-1 or at least a 1-for-1. And sometimes he even baits judgments. You summon this guy, and against a Pendulum player, I just summoned him. I didn't even do anything. I just summoned him, and he solemn judgmented it because he didn't want me getting over his Electromite because I stopped a bunch of his plays, and all he really had was his Scales and Electromite. This would have gotten over Electromite, one of his Scales, and then he would have been at a huge disadvantage, so he ended up judgmenting it. And then I was able to just go off with Guru plays anyway, and that's how I won. Yeah. Most powerful side card, definitely. Probably everyone should play him. Actually, I lied. Him and Lancier are tied for the most powerful side cards, because right now, almost every single combo deck banishes from the grave or hand or wherever in some form or another. So Lancia has been amazing. When you use this card against decks like Thunder Dragon, Orcus, even like Lunalight Orcus, it just ends their turn. Like they most of the time they end up just making a very, very mediocre play and then ending their turn, especially against Thunder Dragons, because they play like Allure of Darkness, Aloof Lupine, a lot of cards that just banish, or even that new card, the Dimension Shifter, and this will just stop their entire turn. Definitely one of the most amazing cards, along with Brachytrops. That's why I'm playing 3 of it. You want to see it as much as possible. Alright, some people are going to call me crazy for this, but double Super Poly. I'm only playing 2 because I have sided 3 in the past, and there have been situations where I opened 2 of these, and it sucks because one is going to be useful. You're going to activate it, you're going to discard a card, and then the other one is either going to be dead, or you're going to have, or you would have discarded it with this one anyway. And using like opening 2 of these, like if you want to resolve both, will mean like you're going to have to discard 2 cards. So that's going to be 4 cards just to make 2 monsters. And most of the time, this card doesn't win you a game. It just stops your opponent's turn for 1 turn. And that's pretty much it. I always saw it when I needed it. I never saw multiple copies, which is exactly what I wanted. Still a great card. If you really want to, you can bump it up to 3. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just, it sucks discarding cards in Guru. That's why we don't play Twin Twister. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Double Heavy Storm Duster. You absolutely need this card to play against decks like Sky Strikers, True Dracos, Altergeist, any deck that runs lots of trap cards, because this blows people out of the game. Especially when you go in phase. Storm Duster, then they won't be able to activate any trap cards in your turn, and then you'll gain a lot of advantage really fast because you play like 3 Judgments, 3 Fienduses. Most of the time you'll be able to win like chain battles with trap cards. So you'll go activate Fiendus, they'll try to strike it, you'll Judgment their strike, and then you'll just win the interaction. Amazing card. I'm only playing 2 because I tried to make room for this next card. Phantasme. Previously, I hated this guy because I was playing him wrong, I was siding him wrong. This is not a hand trap. I know people think he's a hand trap, but in reality, this is just a consistency card. At best, he's a consistency card. And you should only side this guy against Orcus, maybe Orcus, definitely Salamangreat, and definitely Sky Strikers. Because against Salad and Sky Strikers, they're going to make a Link monster regardless of what you do. Because Salad just needs any one monster to make a Link. Sky Strikers, they have like a million different spells and consistency cards to get them to their Ray or to their Hornet drones, and they're going to make one regardless. Against Sky Strikers, you don't really care about their monsters. You're more focused on their back row because that's how they gain most of their advantage. So you'd let them make a Link, summon this guy, drop like 2 cards, put 1 back, and he's just a decent big body for just getting over stuff. I didn't play 3 because like you don't want to open multiple copies of this guy. Same reasoning as Super Poly, and that's pretty much it. And last card on the side is Evenly Matched. I ended up not siding this card at all during all 10 rounds of YCS Niagara because thinking about it, it's just like a player who this would be useful against will always have an answer for this card, right? If you're playing against Altergeist, which is like their biggest weakness is this card, Solemn Judgment is at 3. You'd have to be really stupid in order to set 5 back row without a Solemn Judgment just to play into this card. That you're just asking to lose the game like that, right? A smart player will set 2 cards or 5 if they have a Solemn Judgment. If they set 5 and you're at top tables, you know they have a Solemn Judgment. So I ended up not siding this even against the Altergeist players I played. Against other decks like Combo, I wouldn't side this at all because, you know, if they do their full combo, then they'll have 5 negates anyway. This isn't ever going to resolve. And if they don't do their full combo and don't have 5 negates, then this isn't going to be very helpful because they can't really do much anyway. So I would definitely cut this card from the side, probably replace it with like maybe another Super Poly, maybe another Storm Duster, maybe another Phantasme. I didn't play Nibiru. I know you're noticing I'm not playing Nibiru because I cut Umistrix and Umastrix was basically your only out to a big Nibiru token, right? If you make a Nibiru token for your opponent that is bigger than 3,400, then you won't ever be able to get over it with Guru in Final Battle. You can't shuffle it with Archer, and that's pretty much it. That's why I didn't play Nibiru. Yeah, he's a really powerful card. Yeah, I think you should play him, but maybe not in this version of this deck. If you're playing Nibiru, definitely play Umastrix, but I think in general Umastrix is not worth playing just because there'll be too many times where you're going to draw him and it's just going to be a dead card. Or even if you're top decking, right? Like if you top deck an Umastrix, that's going to suck. You're just going to pass and lose the game. But if you top deck the Archer that I replaced them for, then you can do plays. You can maybe crash him, get a Guru, maybe do something with that. Or maybe get a Phoenix, right? And that's pretty much it. That's it for my YCS Niagara Day 2 Subterra deck profile. Thanks for watching.